maybe the white and purple carried together. Bus onto the Mount Carmel Road, now called Duplex Road, and then we'll start up again. How big around did you say that? I don't know. It has to be at least over 20 feet.
Kind of has some character to it, so you don't know whether it was, I know how old that is, or no serial number on that. All the parts on it, serial number is December effective.
Right over the slope.
A couple of things are original.
Everything all at the same time.
Yeah. Well, that's okay. Did you go to
I mean, one was ran for a couple of years. I have done shows. I mean, I did a lot of research. That's the way I found this to go. They have online auctions. That's really the easiest way to do it. Try to achieve it. Okay. And you have to have it sent to a federal firearm license. So we had a guy that was
Some of the federal cavalry came back. A few of it came back here, and there were Confederates left here. Just a few Confederates left here if they came back to deceive them. But now Forrest, with Buford's division, a Kentuckian, and Chalmers' division, and Jackson's would connect back with them later, a portion of them. But now Forrest is moving up this Duplex, Mount Carmel Road, now called Duplex, moving towards Spring Hill. This will be the old part of the Mount Carmel Road. When we get about halfway in, then it will be modern. All the houses built. So enjoy the fields to your left. Enjoy this terrain, and because it's not going to last forever. There'll be all houses over here to your left. And all this open fields will be developed one of these days. And it's sort of sad. That's progress. And by the way, a Kentuckian, I'll point it to your right, there's a Buford Road up here to your right. That's, of course, for Abram Buford. I've heard different things on how much he weighed. I don't think he's 300 pounds. No. But he's probably about 230, 240 at max. And Johnsonville, when Forrest had his Navy there, they destroyed $5 million worth of gunboats early November and transports. There it is, Buford, right there, named for the Kentuckian. Buford Lane, right there. They captured a lot of stuff on those gunboats, and the boys are cheering. And General Buford got in front of him and he said, "Plenty of meat for the boys. Plenty of shoes for the boys, plenty of clothes for the boys, but only enough whiskey for the general."
Is this Buford related to the Federals in Gettysburg?
They were cousins. Buford at Gettysburg and Buford here, they were cousins. When we get on down the road just a little bit, and I'll start pointing it out soon, the Federals had 2 cavalry regiments armed with repeaters, Spencers and Sharps, maybe some Burnsides, but Spencer and Sharps. They move out from Spring Hill, and notice the lay of the land when we get on up a little ways, that they're making wonderful stands. They would be on one rise. They're dismounted, fired, mount, move back to another rise just behind them, another rise, another rise. Confederate cavalry would move forward, dismount, fight, then mount, move forward again, flank them. They would fall back, and they did a hell of a stand and slowed force down for about 2.5 to 3 hours. They performed very well. When we cross this bridge or interstate, now it's starting modern. That's why I noted how pretty it is back there. Now it's modern. But this is where the Federal cavalry starts making their stands. And look at the road, look at the rises in your distance. And I urge you to notice these swells and rise. And they would fall back from one rise to the next rise, from another rise to the next rise. So if I'm Confederates, right here, look at that rise right there. What a great stand, the high ground. Confederates will move forward, dismount, fight, flank them, and then the Federals will move back to a next rise in our distance over this hill. They performed great. The Federal cavalry performed great. The terrain is perfect for defensive fighting.
Do you know what specific units those were?
That is a great question, and I used to know, and I'm getting feeble-minded at my old age. But let me see. I believe it was the 12th Tennessee Federal and 2nd Michigan Cav. I believe that's correct. And I'm ashamed to say I cannot remember right now. I should have looked. But look at the next stand. And the next stand. And look at that high rise of the distance. I mean, perfect for defensive fighting. Perfect here. Almost positive 12 Tennessee Federal. And then I think 2nd Michigan, that was a veteran unit. Been there a long time. And I don't mean to be redundant, but could you ask for a better stance here? Look, pow, 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 pow. I mean, that's what you want right here. Slow forward. So by the time Forrest arrives in Spring Hill, it's pushing on up to, after the battle, it's pushing on up close to 12 o'clock. Federals are out there about 10:30, 11. And you have 800 wagons. Wagner's division, 5,000. About 20 pieces of artillery, and Forrest gets within minutes, 400 yards of capturing all those wagons. That's where I would be if I was holding off Forrest. That next stand right there, deploy to your left and right, and then just fall back. Their orders are just to slow them down, if they can, slow them down. Perform great, great work today. Now look at the next stand. I know I'm being redundant. But look to your left, that ridge there. To your left, and barely visible. Look to your right, that ridge, but especially to your left. What a hell of a place to make a stand, isn't it? And of course they would go around them.
Well, but then you keep trying to get my handstands. Right. It's like a big time. Just get around the other side of it.
They dismount the fight?
Yes, sir. And then they would send troopers mounted to the left and right to flank them. They dismount here, and the Federals were dismounted. They just fall back again. What a hell of a place to make a stand right here, just to slow them down. The terrain was perfect for defensive fighting.
Tom?
Yes, sir.
I don't understand this hill to hill, make a stand, and then back off. Why the hell didn't the Forrest just go rear and just slow my ass down? Why else did flanking and get the and makes the stand? If you want to get there, you flank me or try to flank me.
Well, they started that flank, or they'd flank them, and then they would just fall back to the next stand. If you're going to go way, I don't think the terrain, the roads, how are you going to get to those woods? And they're woods way around. There's no roads. This is the road.
My point of view, once you get on the flank, don't turn around.
as soon as they get on those flanks,
Keep on heading up Springfield, so beat him.
apparently they had the horses close, and that's, you know, they're not making a permanent stand here. The horses close, they see them flanking, mount up, move back to that next ridge. Dismount, mount up, move back to that next ridge. And they had them close by. And you couldn't go through the woods, and to be able to, that would, you know.
So how long probably break up if you try to.
How long was the place where they moved?
I'm not sure the exact timing, but Forrest didn't get into Spring Hill till about close to 12 o'clock. After the battle, I presume it lasted about an hour at Mount Carmel. So they're holding them for almost 3 hours, slowing them down. And again, that next stand right here, and they did their work well, very, very well. Trying to think of the bus the easiest way here. By the way, that to our left is the White residence. That was General Earl Van Dorn's first headquarters, right there. Can you get this bus left right there?
Left?
School?
Yeah. Right there.
Okay, let's just go on up here. Take a left right here. That's fine. So this is Spring Hill. White residence was Earl Van Dorn's first headquarters in May of '63. Now we'll touch on Earl Van Dorn, one because he died here May 7th of '63, and two because Jessie Peters, she's involved with this controversy a little bit in '64 on November 29th. Jessie Peters was the wife of Dr. Peters. Vivacious, young, beautiful, bilingual, love parties, 26 years old, married to this old man, 49 years old. And when we take a left here, you'll see on your right that brick building there, next to that purple thing. A little hideous, that purple thing. That is the McKissick house, Jessie Peters' parents' house. And when Earl Van Dorn rode in here in late February, Jessie Peters and another lady waving handkerchiefs at him. That was the beginning of the end for Earl Van Dorn. And they started riding in buggies together. And old Dr. Peters, he was studious, like books, like most of us. He wasn't very fun. And he went off on business trips. I've heard this one before. And pretty soon they're riding in buggies together, the general and Jessie. And the Whites over there had premonitions of disaster, Mrs. White, because Jessie came up there in a buggy. I said, oh, we'll get the general. No, I'll go see him. She walked upstairs, was with him for 2.5 hours. Right there is the beginning of the end for Earl Van Dorn on that balcony. Right there. Supposedly, Dr. Peters faked a business trip. I've heard that one too. And he said he called him in the act, pulled him out from beneath the porch by his hair. I don't believe that, but he probably called him in some way or the other, and demanded a letter of apology. That's sort of a 19th century thing, isn't it?
How about a postcard?
Sorry? What's that?
How about a postcard? Will that do instead?
Yeah.
Email?
There is Ferguson Hall to your left. And take a left right here, sir, up here by that light. Ferguson Hall to your left right there. We'll stop by there later. But Dr. Peters went to get his letter of apology. It wasn't to his satisfaction. And the last immortal words General Earl Van Dorn ever said was, "Take the door, you damn puppy." Who else said that to an officer that was killed for saying that? In Kentucky, in Louisville, at the Galt House.
Bull Nelson.
Bull Nelson said to Jefferson C. Davis, called him a damn puppy. I'll tell you one thing, I will never call a man a damn puppy. I'll get you killed. No, I'll never say that. But back to the subject here, that was Wagner's headquarters at Ferguson Hall on November 29, '64. More on Jessie later, because it ties in a little bit to this mystery. Now we're moving down what is now called Kedron Road. Back then it was called the Rally Hill Road. Kedron Road, now called, back then it was the Rally Hill Road. Federal artillery was on that rise that we just turned on.